TV. It's your girl, Lovely Key. And today I'm here with the founders of See Atl Sight. I have Jarrell and I have Chris right here. So tell us about yourselves.
Well, my name is Jarrell, like you said, and I'm from Chandler, Arizona. I graduated from Georgia State University. I almost said Dobson High. I graduated from Georgia State University in 2013.
What about you?
Well, my name is Christopher Walker. I graduated from Georgia State in 2016 with a marketing and sales degree, and I got a master's in hospitality from there as well. So we're excited to be here. We're ready to talk and just pretty much say whatever you want us to say.
So first off, I just want to tell you I'm so sad that we're not doing this on the bus.
Oh.
I saw pictures and it was so nice, and I'm like, I do understand you gotta, put money in your investment, maintain that.
Yes.
But how did you guys start or think about doing this? Like, where did it come from?
Well, I think this is a really cool story. Chris, he actually had he got his master's in hospitality, and he was in class one day, and a lady had just come back from Europe, and she was explaining how she got on this amazing bus. It was like 5-star course meal on there. And basically he got the idea from that. I guess you can explain a little bit more how it came into fruition.
Yeah. So it was a girl from China, and she went to London and got on a double-decker bus. And I was like, okay, that 5-star food that she went and got on, that wouldn't really work here in Atlanta because our clientele ain't that luxury. But I was like, okay, we bring that bus here, we don't have one yet, and tourism is developing here. So I was like, why not bring that bus here and see what we can do with it? But after we looked at the numbers and all the maintenance costs, I was like, this is probably not going to work because most people here in Atlanta don't work on double-decker buses. The engines aren't American made. So when I was trying to think about like what's the smartest thing for me to do, I was going to lose most of my money in maintenance. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to do that. So after I dumbed down my idea, because I was like, forget this, I already turned out all my offers. I can't say no to my entrepreneur dreams. So it kind of like an airport shuttle. That's pretty much what we did to it. So I was like, now that I can't do the double-decker, I might as well put something out there. So that's where the party bus idea came from, the lounge style seating. We'll talk more about that later, but that's pretty much where it came from.
Get on the bus. Don't worry, y'all. But where were you guys before you came up with this idea?
Well, I was working at Enterprise, rental car. I was working in the car sales division, and I was selling cars for the most part. And I was doing that since I graduated. They have a wonderful management trainee program, which I got started with, and it really, taught me how to be a manager and, just kind of, lead on my own and how to direct people. So then from there, Chris had called me one day and was like, hey bro, I'm thinking about this idea. I think about this party bus idea, giving tours around, and it sounded really interesting to me. And initially, I was just kind of supporting him with it, and like, yeah, do it. I like that idea. Then eventually, he asked me to be his partner. So I said, of course, yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay, where were you before?
So last April is when I thought of the idea. I was in my master's program. So knowing that, turning down all the job offers, I was like, I got to go in this full storm. So my boss, who paid for my master's degree, she gave me a temp position at Georgia State. So I worked there from last August to this April. And that's when I ended up quitting. I was like, forget this, I'm gonna drive Uber full time because I make more money. Right. So technically I haven't had a real job. This is my first real job after graduation.
Oh, that's crazy. I wish I had the strength to do
Yeah.
that. I know, because I'm getting my master's right now and I'm trying to pull my hair out because I'm so tired. Like, I don't have time to do nothing. Like, how do you manage your time? Like,
So I was never really good at time management, to be honest. I'm good in the aspect of, I need to be here at this time, but just as far as like planning out my day, because I get stressed out real easily, and I'm just noticing that I have like anxiety low key. I'm like, ooh, there's too much going on. Ooh, there's too much on my plate. Ooh, I need to spread this out. So you just gotta kind of like breathe and, okay, let me do this first, then this second, then this third, and just take it on how it goes and kind of set a time limit with everything. So that's how I kind of manage my time.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like a perfectionist.
All right.
My mom's a Virgo.
So it's so hard for me to like stick with something if I know it's not gonna continue.
Okay.
Like, how are you guys managing like being successful? Like, Like, what are you guys doing, like, to get yourselves out there?
Honestly, I feel like we just take it day by day.
Yeah.
It's weird because everything's kind of falling into place.
That's good.
And, you know, I've always been told if something is meant to happen, it'll just kind of fall into place.
Right.
So that's how I'm kind of dealing with it, just taking it day by day. If we ever have a hurdle or, you know, like a speed bump in the road, just battle it. And it typically always ends up being okay. Like, whatever we think is stressful or, this is going to stop us from doing something, we always overcome it. And I think that's the number one thing that stops most entrepreneurs is that they get that speed bump and they just want like, okay, I can't do it.
Because they can't
Yeah.
go over the hurdle.
Yeah. But there is always a way to get over a hurdle, and you just gotta kind of keep pushing. It's just kind of like training you for what's to come in the future.
Right. So, just walk me through like a tour. Like, what's a typical day for y'all?
So right now we've only done private tours. We haven't opened up to the public until next week.
Okay.
So our first tour was actually with Jarrell's mother's group. We picked him up from a hotel by the airport. And we actually shuttled them from the airport area all the way downtown by Centennial Olympic Park, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
That's where our tour starts.
Okay.
So if you're walking through a tour, it's about an hour and a half. You get on the bus, you can pick any seat you want. We have TVs on there. If it's during the daytime, you don't really get the full effect because you don't see the LED lighting and stuff like that. But just so there's a guide seat back there and there's a driver. So say Jarrell's giving the tour, I'm driving the bus, Jarrell has a microphone to actually talk about the tour. So when you're on the bus and you're listening to what he's saying, it's about 50% history. So we're talking about MLK, we're talking about what used to be in the CNN Olympic Park, who was Ted Turner, who was what CNN, and then you're getting like a local historic, well not historic, but a local feel of what's Atlanta. So if you come during the Super Bowl, we're going to tell you all the events that are popping during the Super Bowl and what to do during the Super Bowl. So what are the best restaurants, what are the best clubs, what are the best events. So I didn't want it to be like my grandma's tour of when she gets on here and she's bored and like, okay, this is history. I didn't want it to be like that because that's what all the other Atlanta tours are. So when I was thinking of what to do, I was like, obviously 50% history, but the rest is like, you know how on Airbnb they have those little host settings and they can take you around?
Right.
I kind of wanted it to be like that, so that's kind of what we created.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, I love drinking wine.
All right, yeah.
So, are y'all gonna have like any kind of like special like events
Okay.
with like, cause I the party bus idea is so dope to me. Like,
Right.
I love that, but cause you know in Atlanta you can't really be drinking like that.
Yeah, it's not what we
Yeah. So, how are we gonna implement like that fun factor? Like, do you guys do like bachelor parties and?
Yeah, we actually do. So you
Crazy
can actually,
stuff.
so there's a public side to the company where you can rent a ticket or buy a ticket with 10 other strangers and just do our guided tour. But there's also another side of the business where it's private. So you can basically take the bus and do what you want to do with it.
Right, so if I wanted to throw like a party on y'all bus to like drive us around Atlanta, that's something that I could.
Yep, our second event was the bachelorette party. So I took them to 3 different clubs, drove them around the city, all within the downtown area. So they rented for like 3 hours.
Oh, so they was turning up.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, it wasn't wild. I can't tell you what they were talking about.
Right.
They had a good time on it.
I
Yeah. They had a good time on it. But we thought of the private side of the business just because we knew Atlanta people. Most people say, I don't want to do a tour, I know Atlanta. So I was like, how do I
But see, like me, I'm not from Atlanta.
Okay.
Like, I've been here for 10 years and I still don't know a lot of stuff about Atlanta. Like, I'm a Jersey girl, like,
All right.
to the fullest.
All right.
So I'm like, that's why I was so sad. I'm like, I want to get on the bus.
Yeah,
But,
we'll bring it back by.
alright.
And then even if you are a local of Atlanta, like I'm 100% sure you'll find out some information on the tour that you didn't necessarily know.
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Because I'm like, I've been here for 10 years and
Me too.
I only know the club scene.
Yeah, but most people do that. Most people live in the suburbs, come downtown for work, and then they leave and go back.
Yeah.
Or they know Centennial or the Ward of Coke.
Yeah, I know like the main, I know
Mhm.
the main touristy places.
Yep.
I mean, that's about it. But everything else, like, I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We'll show you. Come get a tour with us.
So how did you guys fund the business and how did you guys attract your clientele?
Okay. I'll talk about the first part, funding the business. When I was first even starting this journey, that was my first question to myself. Where was I going to get the money from? Because I was in college, had all this debt. I had no money to give to anybody, better yet, to start a business with it. So there's a nonprofit that basically works for the state of Georgia. It's called the Small Business Development Center. So basically, you can go there. Even if you have no business plan, they will help you create a business plan. Luckily, I already had my 30-page business plan already written. So what they did with me, they sat down with you for like an hour consultation. After that, they will show you your projections. So based on your sales, what's your 3-year plan and what's your projections for that. So they basically had like a 10-page Excel chart already written out for me so that I could get to the banks. So that's something I really needed. So like, okay, this is how much, they told me how much money I needed based on what I was trying to do. So at that point, the Small Business Development Center, they work with a bunch of banks. So they sent me to the banks which I could probably get the loan from. So luckily, I only went to one bank and they approved me like within the first 2 weeks.
Wow, that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, it worked out really, really well. And then from that, it's called Ace Loans. That's who we work with. And I know
Really
you
good loan company.
really want to talk about that one, so I'm going to let him talk about that one.
But Ace Loans is awesome. They really help minorities and women get business loans, and they have so many resources in order to get the business started. Like right now, that particular loan company is working on a strategic, how to set up your strategic plan in order to be successful. So they have so many outsourcing and resources that you can utilize in order for your business to be successful. But it's just kind of up to you to take advantage of those resources. And as far as the clientele, how we're getting most of our clientele, honestly, first starting out is really friends and family. Like the first couple of tours that we had were friends and family members. But now we're utilizing Instagram to kind of get the word out there. And we also are utilizing hotels as well in order to, kind of get that word of mouth up there. Because every time someone goes into a hotel, like, okay, what is there to do in Atlanta? Yeah, so that's a perfect opportunity for them to say, oh, well, there's a great tour company called See Atl Sights. I think you should check them out. And we pay them a referral fee for referring the client to us.
So how do you feel, because I know you guys are, just starting, so how is it affecting your life?
It's tough right now, but for the longest time, I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Because I got married and I started a business, don't mean I got money.
Right.
So everyone's always asking me, let's go out Friday, let's go out Saturday, let's go eat Sunday. Oh, I'll see you on Wednesday for dinner. I'm like, I ain't got no money for that.
Like,
So social life is very tough. Unless you came with a bunch of savings already. I just paid for a wedding. I paid for 2 honeymoons. Like, my bank depleted, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess it depends on what your prior scenario is before starting a business. But even when you start a business, you're not going to want to spend your whole bank because you never know that day your business is just going to tank and you're going to need some savings. So for me, it's hard to go out on the weekends. And right now I drive Uber in the morning. So getting up at 5 a.m. and then going to sleep at midnight, that just ain't cutting it because I need my hours. So it's tough, especially with a wife right now too. She, where you at? What you doing? What time you coming home? She don't yell at me like that, but in my head she's yelling even when she's asking. So I'm like, dang, like I'm coming, baby, I'll be there, And I want to see her too. I love her. So I'm like, dang, how do I find more time to spend with her? And then I'm starting a business, so it's very tough. Like it's not easy. What people say when they're talking about grinding, it is very, 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 very tough right now to try to find some time to just sit back, relax, and just, pray. I go to church now. I'm like, dang, I go to church, bro, what's wrong with you? But now I'm like, I go to church and pray. That's when I get my quiet time. So it's good.
Yeah, I think that is needed, just time for yourself. Because I feel like if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anything else around you because it's just not gonna work.
Exactly. And with me, I basically had a whole lifestyle change because I was making pretty good money with the enterprise, but I stopped with them on the 10th of September, and I wasn't really big into savings. Like I had a 401k, but I wasn't I don't feel like I was personally set up to just quit my job, but luckily I had a little savings that I can go off of to quit, and now I'm doing Uber as well. Chris is like, look, you got to start Uber 4 in the morning to do it for 5 hours, and it equals out to be $20 to $21 an hour, like probably 20 to 25. That's the range that it goes, just depending on what type of day it is. I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm going to be doing. Because enterprise, it just wouldn't allow me to concentrate on the business how I wanted to. And initially, Chris was doing a lot of the promotional stuff and, interviews and stuff like that because I was at work. So I couldn't wait to quit so I could, hone in on the business and really concentrate on the business. Because, of course, I don't want my business partner to be out there feeling like he's doing everything by himself. So honestly, I couldn't wait to quit. Like, okay, I get to do this. Like, let's take it on full force. And then it kind of gives you drive to drive an Uber. No, it gives you the drive. No, it gives you the drive to really be successful at the business. Like, okay, we need to make this pop because this is our income now. So, and then it's more personal to you as well when, you know, it's something that, you know, you kind of created for yourself rather than you're working for somebody else or you're working for their dream. You know, right now we are working for our dream. We want to be successful, be able to take care of our families, our kids, our wife, or whatever the case may be, you know. So, yeah, that's me.
So I mean, you know, we're young.
Okay.
So what kind of advice that can you give someone that's, you know, wanting to start a business and just like drop everything? Because I know it's like so scary
Yeah.
I
to
was
do
shook.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the advice I would give is just stay determined, keep pushing forward. You want to be resilient. You want to be determined, and you also want to have a plan as well. I know it was real hard for me to have like a plan and set goals. I've never been that type of person just to write down goals and have like a set plan in place before I execute it, because I'm the type of person, I'm a Sagittarius, so we typically like to take things day by day as they go. So I was never. Yeah, Chris is Sagittarius.
I work like
Well, I'm like the typical Sagittarius.
Yeah,
He's a rare breed. Oh, you could have grown into that.
Yeah, I guess.
You could have grown into it.
Yes, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I was just never like that. Me personally, I should say, not even a Sagittarius thing, but me personally, I was just never like that. So you know, it just, I forgot what the question was.
Let me cut that one. We'll have to restart that. Well, for me,
Okay.
I grew up military, so my parents was always disciplined. So I remember we used to wake up Saturday evenings or Saturday morning, 6 a.m. You wash the wall, you clean the floor. You need to do it by this time. Clean the dishes, make sure my house is spick and span. That's how I grew up, and that's how I've been built. So like having a calendar, I don't really write down stuff. It's just in my brain. Like I automatically know what I need to do for the day. Like it's already set. I guess I'm that detailed already where I don't need to write it down. So maybe I should. Maybe I'll be more detailed. But just as far as telling what advice I would give other people, money, make sure that you have some savings or another job, something that's going to fund your dream until your dream really gets popping, you know what I'm saying? Because right now, if we didn't have Uber or stuff like it, we wouldn't be making any money. So our operating costs, which is like 8 months right now, that thing would be like 3 months because we'd be taking money from it, if that makes sense. So I think that's one of the first things I would advise is make sure that you either have a good wife on the side or support system where you know you got some money. I think that's one of the things that keeps me calm. Like, okay, I got a bad week. Okay, cool. I know it. I got some other money to be made because if I didn't have it, I would stress a lot. All the other advice, it will fall into place after that.
Right. So speaking of support, do you feel like your friends and family like support you to like the fullest extent that they could?
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like family is always there support. You know, they're always going to be like, oh, this is a great idea, keep it going. And friends, they're the same as well. It's weird when you get older and have like your college friends. It's just surprising on how supportive that they can be. And it just kind of lets you know how much you've grown as well. Like, because if you think about starting something in high school, you may not have that same type of support as you do now in college. Because I think millennials are really on the grind to be entrepreneurs, and we're kind of against that whole 9 to 5, and we really just want to do something that works for us. And I think that's where a lot of corporate businesses are kind of missing the mark, because they're still kind of going back to that old time 9 to 5 on a set schedule. And millennials nowadays, well, millennials in general aren't really operating like that. They're not truly happy like that.
Yeah, I don't operate like that.
Yeah.
I operate on my own time.
Yeah. So you just kind of want to have like that sense of freedom and sense of support and sense of camaraderie with the people who you're working with. So,
And I think for me, in general, in the beginning, I didn't think people were going to support me. Like, because everybody on Instagram, everybody on Facebook, all you see about people who start a business, they're like, well, all they're supposed to be, why you ain't supporting me? Spend money with me. They just make it seem so hard. And I was like, okay, maybe it's going to be harder than what I think it is. But one of the things that, my phone going off. But one of the things that really shocked me was when we had our grand opening event, and I had like 49 shares on Facebook about coming to my event. I was like, dang, 49 people. And I was going through the people who was sharing. I was like, I don't remember you. I don't remember you. So it was kind of cool to see like people who I went to high school with, elementary school with, they actually showed up at the event. So it was really cool. And they actually bought shirts. I think we ended up selling like $250 worth of shirts, and we didn't even mean to. Like it just happened. Like people was like, oh, I want to support you. I was like, you want to do what? But it's so different than what people have taught us. They've always said it's going to be so hard for you to make money. Your friends ain't going to support you, and your family not really going to be there. It's the complete opposite for us. So it's kind of like, dang, like how do we get this stigma across to people that your family will support you? It's I don't know how they're going to get that across. I guess we got to continue to develop that. But
it really is.
Yeah.
Because you do not get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I guess you just have to, I guess if you don't have that support, you have to kind of find that support in yourself, because eventually you'll be at the success that you want to be at, and
right.
along the way you may not have it initially, but hopefully along the way you'll kind of gain those people that support you and truly want to see you succeed. And sometimes you'll find complete strangers that just will reach out to you, tell you that, you know, I really like what you're doing out there, and you know, you'll find support from strangers that you never even met before.
Mm-hmm.
And for people like myself that want to go on a tour,
All right.
how can we reach out to y'all?
Well, definitely follow us on Instagram. It's on Instagram is See Atl Sights, and our website.
Mm-hmm. That's SEE, not SEA. People, it's SEE. Like see when you look. See Atl Sights, and then our email, if you want to do like a private tour, is SEEATLSIGHTS. So seatlsights@gmail.com. And then our Facebook is See Atlanta Sight. So you got to spell it out on Facebook.
Okay. So what do you guys have coming up next?
So for October, oh shoot, we're in October. I got that part. November, right? Well, for November, we'll give you guys the coupon code. So if you go onto our website and start booking a tour, you'll see a promo code option. Put in Big Daddy as the code, and we'll give you 10% off. I just made it up, and it's gonna be a good code, shoot. But that's for you to come on our tour. You get 10% off. Okay, Angela. I told them let me make up a name. My bad. You want to restart it? You can restart it.
Big Daddy?
What's wrong with it? She can't handle it.
I know, oh my gosh. So y'all heard it here first. If you want to book them, go ahead and check them out on their website, and stay tuned to Trade Allure TV. Peace.